What's up, everybody? James Zhang here. Oh, let's go again. What's up, everybody? James Zhang here. Welcome to the Kingdom Builders podcast. This is a podcast that is dedicated to providing biblical business strategies, success tips, and practical wisdom to help the faith-based entrepreneur build your influence, expand your impact in order to elevate God's kingdom. Today, I'm telling you, we're in for a ride. All right, this is one of those you're gonna want your pen and your paper out. This one of those you might have to, if you're listening to this while you're driving, you might want to pull to the side of the road. If you're in the gym, you're probably going to get so hyped up that you won't be able to pay attention to your workout, because we have with me a powerful, powerful woman, Baby Lee. I'll introduce you in just a little bit, but Baby, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
This is going to be so much fun. So for those of you that don't know Baby, you're going to get to know her real quick, and she's going to be someone that you're going to want to follow for sure. But Baby, if you don't know, and I asked her this question, is that your real name? It is. It's an awesome name. Definitely very memorable and everything. But Baby Lee, she's a wellness coach. She actually owns a spa out here in Alameda, which is in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. But besides that, she's a survivor of childhood traumas. And today she integrates her own life experiences, and she's been through a lot. We'll dive into that today. And she aims to help millions of people around the world deconstruct and realign their past perceptions that are opposed to evolution so that they can live in a way that allows them to cope. In other words, she serves her clients by helping them find their truth, authenticity, freedom, and joy. And today I titled this Break Free from Trauma with Baby Lee, and it kind of rhymes as well too, so it's kind of cool how that is. But Baby, I am super excited to have you here. I know we're going to bless a lot of people, but let's start with this. For those of us that don't know who Baby is, would love to know, you have a very specific story, but do you mind sharing who was Baby before? How did you even step into this trauma space and everything? Mind if we just dive right into that?
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and share that I am not special. I have a unique story, not special. Anything I've gone through isn't there for you to feel sorry for me, for you to pity me, because it's not special. It's just unique, because I know everyone out there has gone through something
Mm-hmm.
that is uniquely their story. But is it special? Is it, wow, I can't believe I went through this? No. So my story begins with just how I saw it. I'm just living and breathing. And anything I know, I simply know at that moment. So what do I know? I know that I am a child and I have parents and I have family and I go to school. And one day it just hits. You you realize you feel lonely. You almost feel isolated. Now, doesn't that sound rather common?
Mm-hmm.
But when you're a child, it sounds rather special. Like, I'm the only one going through this. So, this is the time where you get pulled away. You either lean in towards God or you lean away from God.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see this. You can see this in the playgrounds. You can see it by the way they treat one another. And I actually thought I was terrible. I thought I was the only one going through it. I thought that I felt worthless.
Mm-hmm.
And when I grew up, I actually believed it. And this is where you put your childish ways behind. But did I? No, I didn't. I used the same strategies I did as a child in my adult years.
Yeah.
I did not put my childish ways behind because I couldn't even pinpoint what that was. I was too hard headed. I thought I was mature.
Mm-hmm.
But how am I mature if I don't have a belief of structures? And I made wrong decisions. I was as careless as I was in my childhood as I was in the beginning years of my adulthood. Because I didn't even realize I was still being a child. So we must define what a child is. A child seeks approval. A child needs and seeks validation to survive. A child needs the acceptance of others.
Mm.
So, what do you think I did?
You sought that. And I wonder in the chat too, as you're listening to this, comment child if you've ever felt those wants as well too, because just what you're saying already, baby, I am so aligning with everything. I totally know what that feels like. And child is not an age, it's seeking approval, seeking validation and acceptance. I think it's probably one of the biggest things that most of us face. So I completely agree with you. But yeah, so as you matured then, it sounds, I'm assuming you sought the same things. Is that what happened?
Well, I will say I absolutely went on a road of humiliation,
Mm,
self humiliation, and I guess we would say self sabotage.
mm,
But I humiliated myself. I chose the people I was around. I chose. It's not like they said, "Please come here. You can't
mm,
leave."
mm,
It's I I voluntarily entered relationships, men and women, career, because I was seeking that. Now, we also have to go with personality type. I happen to be a very agreeable person. I'm
mm,
also a woman, so God destined me to be compassionate. God
mm,
destined me for this role because it's, I'm meant to bear children, so I should be very compassionate towards a baby. So
mhm.
that aligns much more powerful as you get older.
Yeah.
And so another thing is that I I am the I am someone that didn't have strong men in their lives.
Mm,
I didn't have strong men to let me know what a man does, how
mm,
men behave. And like you said, childhood is not an age.
yeah.
So I was around men that were still children. So I
Mm,
used that as an influence, as a guide, as a North Star to choose the men in my life
mm,
or to
mm,
stay away from men. So
mhm,
I chose weak men who thought they were strong men.
mm,
And I believed that they were strong men. And what
mm,
does weak men do? Weak men hurt weak women. I
mm,
was so weak. I
mm.
was weak and I was seeking approval,
Right.
validation, and acceptance from weak men.
It's so big because that's probably the biggest thing I've seen. And it's so unfortunate because it starts with not a bad intention. Like, I think we all want these things, right? We all want to be accepted. But when we don't have these paradigms and we don't know what a strong man looks like or what a strong woman looks like as well, too, or and we were talking about this offline too. I think there's big issues now with even knowing what a man, what a woman, is. And we're not we're okay with talking about politically incorrect things here because we believe that truth is with a capital T, not a your truth, my truth, whatever truth that there is. There's God's truth in things and he made things a certain way. So but yeah, but it's so unfortunately common, baby, what's going on, and it ruins people's lives.
Absolutely ruins them. And if you don't understand this and you're feeling miserable right now, I guarantee you have stepped away from the Lord. I
Mm,
guarantee it.
mm,
You're feeling anxious, anxiety, regret. Those are the building blocks that the devil wants you to go into
yeah,
because
yeah.
only misery wants company.
Exactly. And there's a scripture that says there's therefore no condemnation for those that are in Christ Jesus. So any of those, and as you're listening to this, everyone here, we're talking about real topics today. Baby is someone that calls it as it is. And maybe it's that East Bay side as well, too. It's like she's just straight up with things which we need. So you're gonna get some coaching today. But if you're going through this, and this will be an uncomfortable episode for many people, listen with an open-mindedness and just know everything is truth wrapped in love, but look at this not with shame. Look at this with, okay, is this happening to me? Because if so, baby's going to talk about how to break free from these as we dive into this story as well too. And I am curious as well too, baby. Like, did you grow up with a relationship with the Lord, or is that something you found later on? Like, what was that like for you, your journey in faith?
Because my family worked hard and came to America. You know, just being in America and just being in a metropolitan,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we just have religion. And
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother is falls under Catholicism,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, just my family all has, they're within Christianity. My other grandmother married a Jew, so we always had faith. And
Mm-hmm.
just coming from Asia, we definitely had Buddhism in it,
Mm-hmm.
but we always came from an area where there is something that is a guiding force. However, each group had different outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely much more realistic for me to say your outcome is based on your decision, not because of who you followed. I will say that because there are people who are just like, well, I did it without God.
Mm-hmm.
No, you didn't. You just don't see it. And your outcomes did do well, but couldn't they have done a lot better? You know, and you might be good. You might be stupendous, excessively well financially. How are your relationships with your children? How are
Mm-hmm.
your relationships with with your intimate partner?
Yeah.
Like, there are always going to be something, but I didn't have it for me. So even though I grew up around it,
Mm-hmm.
as a child, you learn God and you hear these stories and you just think, wow, these are beautiful stories. These are
Yeah.
amazing movies. And then you just miss out on the message. Let me tell you that when you put your childish way behind, that's when the real lessons come. You
Mm-hmm.
might have gone through grammar school, but it isn't until you get out of school where you get your lessons in life. You know, like, it's only stepping stones. So even though you grew up, that's why there's a lot of people who convert to other religions, right? They
Right.
convert to other religions because they finally got old enough and they're
Mm-hmm.
just like, you know what? I'm going to pick up this book, whether it's a Quran, whether it's whatever it is. They picked up the book and they finally started reading.
Yeah.
And so it's not until you start reading that you actually have to, like, say, look, I get it. I'm going to be very honest. I don't read. I listen. I'm someone that listens. I intensely listen, right?
Mm-hmm.
I might read something here and there, but I intensely listen. But I am selective with who I listen to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm selective because I was misguided by people
Mm-hmm.
who I thought lived the life I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Now instead of thinking, I now put down my eyes, eyes of God. I said, I actually see the truth instead of the perception that I wish I see. This is
Yeah.
how we lie to ourselves. We lie. I didn't realize what a great liar I was. This is why it's such a devilish sin to
Mm-hmm.
lie. Because when you lie, you deteriorate your mind.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
start seeing lies. And in order for you to keep piling on that lie, you have to continue to lie. And you get so good at lying, you don't even know you're lying. Let me tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You think a lie means I didn't steal it? No, a lie is it comes in trickles. It's, oh, for us ladies out there, he's really good. He's just upset. He didn't mean to slap me. He's just upset. He didn't mean to yell at me. He's just
Mm-hmm.
upset. I did something to upset him.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't want to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, ladies, the lie didn't start because you met this man. It's because mommy and daddy used their rage that they had on themselves and they put it on you. And now you decided, I'm going to believe this lie. Not that you lied, but you believed this lie that you are the reason why you were being severely punished. Because that, it only makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
you use these and then you didn't put the childish ways behind because they don't work, ladies. They don't work in adulthood. And you believe, oh, he's mad because of me. Everybody else knows better than me. Everyone knows better than what I see.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also believe the lie that your truth is the truth. Ladies,
Mm-hmm.
your truth is not the truth because you've been lying to yourself all these years. You don't even see the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
it's
that.
when you take that pause. That's what prayer is. Prayer is a pause. Prayer isn't, Oh, Father, art thou, I've done this, so bring it to me. Give me what I want. That's not a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
Prayer is a pause.
Powerful.
It is. That's it. You don't have to be technical with it. There
Mm-hmm.
are people, they get really good. They use all these amazing biblical speech. You're not it. Don't pretend to be it. Don't lie.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Mm-hmm.
just have a conversation like you would a friend.
Exactly. Exactly. I think the biggest issue with religion, it's man's attempt to try to get to God, and it gets so confusing. And that's one of the lies that the devil uses. A relationship is different, and just like what you're saying, it's kind of like using the child analogy. What I'm hearing, children don't. They have a different relationship with their parents than when we're an adult type of relationship with our parents. If you get to that, right? And it's asking questions, it's learning, it's actually like listening, right? It's a different type of thing. Children have a different type of dependence on their father and their mother than adult one does as well too. So that's what I'm hearing with what you're saying. Have a relationship and go through these thoughts that we believe to be a truth. And today on the caption, I actually shared, I think the scripture that came to my mind when I was talking to you and thinking about you is John chapter 8, verse 32. Very popularized one, but it's very true. And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. You have to know what the truth is. Not your truth, not their truth, but God's truth, because that's the only truth that really, really matters and will set you free with everything. So, um, you're going through your childish ways, you're falling into the wrong relationships, you're falling into the wrong jobs. And this is so important for anyone that's listening to this, whether you're a woman or a man, whatever, regardless of what age you are. You could be 10, you could be 60, it doesn't matter. If we don't make these links and understand these types of traumas and things that happen and unlink it and break free from it, it can affect you in every single area in your life because you're believing a lie.
Finances.
Mm,
One of
mm,
the lies that you have financially, now let me tell you,
yeah.
it's I don't have enough.
Mm,
It's always I don't have enough.
mm,
But what you're really saying is I rather spend on this.
mm,
But you also are saying that because you actually don't know your finances. You don't know how to manage. You just think savings means putting it away in your sock drawer.
mm,
You
mm,
don't know about like high yield interest accounts. You don't know
mhm,
about mutual funds. You don't know about 401ks. You don't know about compound interest. You don't know about any of this. And right now it just seems like so far away. And let me tell you, it is. That's why
mhm.
you got to start now. It is far away. It is. But we're preparing right now. And that's the whole thing. You have to always prepare.
Mm,
And you have to know. And you got to talk to people who know more than you. It's not like anyone just knows it.
mm,
They had to actually find out, seek, and you
exactly.
shall find. You
Mhm,
have to find it out. And there's so many ways. And I'm telling you, I am someone who ate out of the garbage. I was homeless. I didn't have a cent to my name. I was I used to be so humiliated watching someone throw something away and them catching me. I used to say things like, oh, I'm trying to find a pen. Like I was
mm,
I was I was
mm.
I spoke loud. I didn't even say it with like a demure. I was like, oh, because I was just so humiliated. You
Yeah.
know, God made us so I don't have to worry about food.
Mm,
And to say like, oh, it's because you did it. Let me tell you, I'm gonna tell you how it's not me. This is
mm,
it, because everyone's just like, how did God do it? You did it. I'm gonna tell you how it wasn't me, because I was making dumb decisions. I was so weak. I didn't know what to do. If it was me and I did it my way,
yeah.
I I I'd be dead. I'd be
Yeah.
in prison. I would not. If it was my way, my life would be in suffering. God doesn't want me to suffer.
Exactly. And you don't mind baby.
He doesn't
So,
just transform it though. He doesn't just transform it. You have to. God only gives you what you can handle. So if He's saying you're not even handling this,
mm,
you can't even do this. I need to, and rightfully so.
mm,
Rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
Why should you have more money in your bank account if you're
Mm,
not showing me that you can even take care of this amount? If
exactly.
you can't even take care of $100, how do I trust you with 1,000? If you can't take
Mm-hmm.
care of 1,000, how can I trust you with 10,000?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because what are you? Do you want money to spend? Is that do you just want to spend $1,000? Is
Mm,
that all you want to do?
mm,
Or do you want to share in that? Do you have
mm.
a family? It's tough. I get it. But God makes miracles.
Exactly. So powerful, baby. So I want us all to think as we're listening to this, what are the areas in our life that we're stuck in? What are the areas in life maybe we're humiliated by even as well too? And we gotta hold it up to the magnifying glass today. And we're gonna look it straight in the eye and we're gonna break through it. So, baby, if you don't mind sharing, I mean, everyone's different phases in their life. You've had different phases, up and downs in your life too. Was there ever one moment where you can say that was bottom for me? And then I'd love to turn around after that and talk about how to break through that. But is there like a rock bottom experience you could label to in your life?
There's so many. There's
Yeah.
so many. Let me choose one. But
Yeah.
there's been many. But let me tell you, I honor these bottom moments because they are the transformation moments.
Mm,
These
mm,
times when you're at the bottom, let me tell you, you don't really move mountains unless you're suffering to move that mountain.
mm,
You'll just stay because then you can handle the suffering.
mm,
I don't know who said it, but they were like, I was so sick and tired of it that I changed. Like I was
mm-hmm.
sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Amen.
And it isn't until then, like transformation happens when you are hurting. So everybody that is hurting, I'm like, oh, I'm excited for you. You're
Yes.
about to change your life because you're hurting so much.
Mm,
But don't stay there. If you
yeah.
stay there, nothing changes. I'll share one.
Yeah.
I'll share one. There's so many. They just want to
Mm,
pile on. They just want to pile on. But I'll show one with you that it's out there.
mm,
On my coaching website, Soul Touch Coaching, I do have it on there. There's a little clip of me sharing this story, but I'll expand on it. So if you are interested, go to Soul Touch Coaching. Then you'll actually get to see a clip of what I went through. I was in a relationship. So my whole thing is I want to multiply. I want to give life. I want to be a mother. I want to do this and I want to be able to honor a man and have a man to guide me.
mm,
And I wanted that and guide my children. I wanted to choose a man of quality. And I wanted him to be the person who I I give I give his offspring to.
mm-hmm.
So this man, I told him like I'm in this for marriage. I'm interested in children. And he let me know he's in it too.
Mm,
So continue this life. And he says, I love you. I say I love him. I'm just like, well, now you should get married. You love me, I love you.
yeah.
Let's get married, right?
Makes sense.
So one day I was just so happy, and then the next day he decided that he no longer loved me. But
Wow.
he didn't tell it to me that way. He said it in a way of, uh, um, like refusing to come over,
Mm,
punishing me for how I behaved,
mm,
letting me know how selfish and uncaring I am,
mm,
breaking promises. That's
mm,
how he let me know.
mm-hmm.
And I I decided, let me knock on his door.
Mm,
I want to save this.
mm,
I'm thinking I can change the situation because I don't
mm,
know what I did. I went through my Rolodex in my head of every event that I can, just forensic. And I knocked on his door and I said, I'd like to change our relationship. I like to recreate the relationship. I want us to be on the same path. I want us to have the same journey, and I want us to make a plan to get there. I want us to both have respect for one another and honor one another so that we can build on a relationship. And the next thing I knew is that my hands were limp. He had just taken my throat and slammed it shut, and he strangled me unconscious. His marks were on my throat, and there were glass shreds of my skin on the like from the. There was a bit of he he dribbled my head like a baseball. Did you know your head could dribble? It can dribble. It can
Wow.
dribble. And I was I was gone. And I will tell you, just so you have an idea,
Mm.
the sun had, the sun was out. It was morning. I went to sleep, and I was like, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna go see him, see how he's doing. Maybe make him some soup.
Mhm.
And when I woke up, the sun was set,
Wow.
and I felt, I heard him say, "I love you. I love you. Wake up.
Wow.
I love you." And my heart, everything was still. This was God's way of saying, you have made terrible. You know what, ladies, when men, whatever, when you feel like the world, you went through something so torturous, and the
Mm.
world just seems to slow down. That is God working in your body. They'll say some scientific stuff. Let me tell you,
Mhm.
it's God working in your body to say, slow down. You are making terrible decisions. I need to get in the way. This
Mm.
is when God speaks. When people are like, how does God speak to you? You need to know how God speaks. You need to talk to God often so you know how he speaks, because he doesn't come in a voice. And people's like, I heard him. We had a complete conversation. Sure, I don't believe that. I believe it's more sensational, right?
Mm.
So
Mhm.
it's God who's like, slow down. This is not love. Everything you thought was love, go read Corinthians, all right? This isn't
Mhm.
love. This isn't love. Go read Corinthians. This
Mm.
isn't love. You're wrong. So it slowed it down,
Mm.
and there were these doors, double doors, and I was like, I'm just gonna run through. I
Mm.
don't even know if the glass is there. I'm just gonna run through. And I got up. I had a dose of energy. I got up. I was about to scream, but I couldn't. My throat was
Mm.
completely collapsed,
Wow.
and I ran. And he grabs me by the ankle and he drags me back in. It's like a Hollywood horror scene. And he uses his hands, his manly hands that covered my entire face, and suffocated me again.
What?
And I just, I couldn't scream. I couldn't. Let me tell you, all those things that you learn about like women's self-defense, don't come at me with that. I'm not a man. I'm not going to outfight a man. I'm not a man. All right.
Mhm.
I'm not. I'm a 5'2" small petite woman that is not going to fight a 6'4" man.
Yeah.
I'm just not. Those self ladies, do not take those self defense classes. They're a waste of your money. All right. You're not going to. Let me tell you, I feel capable in a fight with a
Yeah.
woman.
Right.
It's just not how God designed us. God
Right.
designed men to be our defense.
Mm.
All right? Women, let me tell you, women that are devilish women are manipulative mentally. Women, it's a mental game, right?
Mhm.
But aside from that, I digress. So I went ahead and I woke back up, and he whispers in my ear, because there was a knock at the door, and they're like,
Mm.
can we do anything? Can we do anything? Right? They finally, someone came as the sun had already gone away. And he whispered in my ear, because he knows he's caught now. People are at the door. And he whispers in my ear, you created this.
Wow.
And I know what he was doing, because let me tell you, I was speaking to God at this moment. I knew what
Mm.
he was doing, because if it was my way, I would have believed him. My
Mm.
way would have continued that lie. My way
Mm.
would have allowed the devil to continue to make me believe the lie.
Mm.
The lie is, oh, I made him so upset. Oh, I
Mm.
shouldn't have gone over. Oh, ugh, I'm so sorry. I'm so
Mm.
sorry. But the truth is, I did create this. Let me tell you how. I stayed. I
Mm.
stayed when he humiliated me. I stayed when he embarrassed me in front of his friends. I stayed when he humiliated in front of my colleagues. I
Mm.
stayed when he pulled me by the collar. I stayed when he yelled at me. I
Mm.
stayed. It never got to that point. It wasn't like,
Mm.
oh, my whole thing, my biggest thing in relationships, well, he doesn't hit me.
Mm.
That was my biggest thing.
Mm.
biggest thing. That is really on the low scale of what you want in a
Yeah.
what you don't want. Like there's much higher qualities than that.
Mhm.
Like that shouldn't even be a, a thought.
Right.
But I was severely penalized as a child, so that's my only thing. As long as
Right.
they don't hit me, right? And
Yeah.
so I went ahead and I took that. But he's right, I did create it because I stayed. I
Mm,
stayed through all that. I allowed him to do more and more to me
mm,
because I excused everything because I wanted to perceive him differently than
mm,
what he was showing me because I was so used to lying. And
mhm,
the lie is, it's my fault you're
mm,
upset. It's my fault why you're angry at me. It's
mm,
my fault that you will leave me. It's
mm,
my fault that you will belittle me. And anything you ever speak poorly about me with others, well, I deserved it.
mm,
And that was a lie. And I woke up. Now, it shouldn't have taken that
mm,
extreme, but that's how far gone I was.
mm, mm.
How far away I was from the truth that it got there.
Oh my gosh.
And I went to the police station. If you're asking, if you want to know, did I go back? Absolutely not.
Mm,
Absolutely not. I never went back. Did he want to come back? Absolutely. Absolutely. No, no, I absolutely didn't. Did I press charges? Uh, let me tell you, there's a warrant for his arrest.
mm,
I mean, but now we're just getting into details. So just
mm.
to stay within focus of your question, I was at the lowest point
Wow.
at that time in my life. I was so low, and I
Mm,
had to really evaluate who who speaks to me in my head. Who are
mm,
these?
mm,
Where are critical thoughts coming from?
mm,
They're coming from everybody who I chose to stay around. People
mm,
who spoke badly about me. My most loving people around me, I had to get rid of them.
mm,
I had
mm.
to walk away. I had to change my relationships. I had to reevaluate my friendships. I had to
This is.
really see who who speaks to you because the people you're around, you become.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I
So I want
decided
to ask.
who spoke terrible about me, so I thought terrible of myself.
This is so huge, baby. And if anyone's listening to this, um, I hope you haven't gone through as tormentuous, if that's a word, as crazy and horrible of a situation that baby did. And thanks for sharing, because I know you've overcome that, but still, anytime that you bring that up, there's stuff that comes up. Um, I've seen people that no matter, and there's not a great there's not a gradient, right? But there's bad things that shouldn't be happening to them, whether it's getting beat in a relationship, whether it's just accepting denigrating thoughts, whether it's doing horrible things to themselves, whatever that it is. And yet what I'm curious about is because I've seen it's unfortunate when they're in that moment, when they're on the ground, when you woke up, for example, they don't have that flip where it's like never again. Like they go the other way because they believe the lie, because at that point they're in a very weak place and they're so used to believing their lies and other people's lies are like, this is just the way that it is, and they believe that. What would you say to that how do you make that shift right there? Because this is the point that trauma people that go through any trauma, whether they're actually going through it or it happened in the past, that they're not able to break free from. How did you make that shift at that moment?
I started reading.
Mm,
So even before that happened, I'm telling you, this is only one of my plummets, right?
yeah,
I'm sure I'm gonna have another one. It's
yeah,
just designed that way because that's how you grow. But
yeah.
I started reading. I started listening to people who knew more than I did. And I
Mm,
started realizing how much the people around me were my worst enemies
mm,
and how much I wanted to depend on them to validate me.
yeah.
And I was down on the ground with glass around me. And when he whispered in my ear, I knew exactly what he was doing because this isn't the first time. Let me tell you,
Mhm,
I've never been in a relationship where someone did this extreme to me in a in a romantic relationship, but with my family, absolutely.
Mm,
As a child, I was
yeah.
like, I know this conversation. It was my fault, wasn't it? I did
Mm,
do all this. I did. So what I heard was, I know how I created this
mm,
because we recreate our old patterns.
mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
recreate it. But can I tell you, like, what was the magic behind it? I don't, aside from just learning,
Yeah.
questioning, seeking coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I actually went to I went to people,
Yeah.
and I brought in my community. And so when that happened, I knew what to do.
Mm, mm.
I had defenses on me now.
Makes sense.
And that's how I did it. I learned new strategies.
Mm,
And if it wasn't for that, I would be making the same mistake.
yeah.
So it's because I prepared myself. Now, did I know what I was preparing myself for? No, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't. But
Mm,
now I was much more equipped. So when I
yeah.
saw something, I was like, oh,
Mm,
it's you were always like this. So when
mm,
people say something like, they changed in their relationship. No, they didn't, honey. They didn't change in their relationship. It's just you're deeper in it. They were
mm.
always like that. They were always like that. You just had low scales. You didn't have high standards. You had
Mm.
low standards. And the standards of the people in your life are low. Oh, but they're great people. Mm,
Compared to
not to
what?
you. Yeah, yeah. Not to you. They're not great for you.
Mm,
And it
mm,
hurts me to say that because I love the people who
yeah,
I let go.
yeah,
I love them and I hold nothing against them. And they are great people.
yeah.
Not to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
they will allow if you're around people that will let the devil get you, you're around the wrong company.
Mm, mm.
You cannot be around them.
That's so
It
huge.
doesn't matter if they're just great with others.
Yeah.
And ladies, for men that leave you and you're thinking they left you because you're not great company, this is where it's God's grace.
Mm,
This is it. This is it. This is God's grace. If you know that man just devalued you, dehumanized you, and he left,
mm.
you wouldn't have left, wouldn't you? You
Yeah.
wouldn't have left. You would not, because you're a submissive woman who wants to honor the man she loves. You would
Mm,
not have left.
mm.
You're already attached. You wouldn't have left.
Yeah.
That's God's grace.
Huge. Huge.
I took it as God's grace. Oh, oh, this relationship's done.
Yeah.
This once I call the cops, this relationship
Good.
we're not saving this. We're not saving this relationship. Yeah. Because I wouldn't have left him.
Yeah. Right. Yep. And it's like so huge what you're going through, baby. And I hope as you're listening to this, this is this is one of those messages that is hard to listen to because it goes right to the core of the issues that all of us face, whether you're a woman or a man, right? So I'm listening to this as a man, and it's like I think to myself, whose opinions am I valuing? All right. So what am I taking from this? Couple things. Number one, whose validation am I seeking? Really, we have to be very careful, right? It's like, is it your parents? Is it your friends? Is it your colleagues? Is it a loved one? Is it a significant other? Is it a romantic relationship? The only person's validation that we should be seeking is God Himself because He's the perfect Father. So that's number one that I'm hearing from what you're saying, baby. Number two is what are the relationships around you doing to you? And what I find so powerful, baby, is and here's a key thing that I think a lot of people don't get is that you made the decision that that relationship isn't good for me. However, you're also not carrying around lack of forgiveness and you're not carrying around blame and guilt and all these different things. Because what I hear you say over and over and over again is they're amazing people, just not for me. And I think trauma, even if someone can get through the actual incident that happened, is they carry around this baggage of lack of forgiveness. And I'm sure you've heard this said, and maybe those that are listening heard this said, lack of forgiveness is like drinking poison, expecting the other person to die. And what I'm hearing from you, baby, is that you also relieved and released forgiveness as well too. How do you forgive someone that just shattered your head and dribbled it like a ball on the ground or wall? Like how do you forgive?
I have to say, I don't ever feel like it was something that I ever intentionally did. I
Mm,
just always knew that you cannot be in your right state if you treat someone so terrible. Because
mm,
I'm not a virtuous woman. I've done some terrible things, and it's because I wasn't in my right state.
mm,
I wasn't,
mm.
and I haven't done anything as like that, but
Right.
I I definitely will say it's hard for people to believe that someone that can do something so vengeful shouldn't be forgiven.
Mm,
But you wouldn't blame someone who is sick for being sick.
mm, mm,
But you have to only take responsibility, accountability
mm.
that you chose to be around these people.
Powerful.
So don't think that I ever felt like, oh, they, I'm tongue twisted because I don't think I actually had that conscious awareness
Yeah.
that um, they're they're unforgivable. And I
Right.
think it's
Right.
also because I'm only projecting perhaps that I've wanted to be forgiven
Right.
when I misjudged, when I
Yeah.
misbehaved. I wanted to be forgiven because,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, I was definitely mistreated as a
Yeah.
child. I was loved. I want to put it out there. I was definitely loved as a child, but there were many moments of that that made me believe that I need to be in a relationship that is harmful.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be forgiven so bad. And
Mm,
perhaps this is also a misjudgment by many women that was like, oh, I forgive him. Ladies, you could love someone and still walk away. Lovely.
mhm.
It's it's a lovely thing to do. You you can love someone, but it doesn't mean that they can hurt you.
Right.
Um, so your actions and their actions are completely separate.
Yeah.
It's completely separate. That's why I like to say it was my okay. I'm saying this. It is my fault I got strangled. It absolutely
Mm,
was. I know it's hard for people to hear that. That's my
mm,
message. It's so my fault. And I'm not taking any responsibility for this man's actions. That's
yeah.
all on him. He is
Yeah.
completely demented for what he did to me. That was
Mhm,
horrible. That was psychotic what he did to me. That is
mhm.
not my responsibility. It's my fault because I went there. I had to be that weak to agree to this relationship. That
Yeah.
is on me. I need to forgive myself. If I cannot forgive another person, then
Mm,
I can never see myself as
mm,
human.
mhm.
I know that people make mistakes. It doesn't mean what he did is excused.
Right.
No. And a lot of people think because I forgive you, it excuses you.
Mm,
No,
not at all.
it does not excuse you. But now
Yeah.
I must have accountability for myself. That's it. I only have accountability for myself.
Yes.
I only have accountability for myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
And if I don't, I will repeat the same habits. I'll
Yeah.
make the same mistake. And I would refuse God's message.
Mm, mm. My gosh. This was really well said, baby. And for anyone that's listening to this, like this is so key you catch the nuance because this is how you break free from trauma. Because if you see and you listen to baby now, she's a powerful woman. When you're able to go through that type of a circumstance and you're able to then speak about it like you are now, it shows that you've overcome it in such a powerful way. And now, of course, using that as your platform to help others as well too. So the best person to help anyone through a situation like trauma is someone that's been through trauma. So if you've been through trauma, definitely connect with baby because you can tell she's got a couple things. So let me draw a couple things that I'm getting here. Number one, validation is not from people. Validation is from God. Number two is that we're all broken people. Like that's what I'm hearing you say. We're all broken, right? When we don't forgive, we're kind of casting judgment saying, "Oh, they're not worthy of forgiveness." But you're actually saying, "I'm not worthy of forgiveness." And it's understanding like the whole story of the Pharisees throwing a stone at that adulterous woman that
Mhm.
Jesus saw, right? And Jesus is like, hey, he who never sinned before can cast the first stone. And they're like, oh, we've all sinned, right? There's not this gradient of sin. If we've all fallen short of the glory of God. So that's just where it is. And that's what I'm hearing from you, baby, is that you have an understanding that that's just how it is. I've done things, he's done things, we've all done things. But you also said, which is so key, is forgiveness is not accepting their behavior. Forgiveness is not condoning what happened. It's not excusing what happened. That happened, there's consequences. However, what I find so powerful, and this is how you break free, is that you took ownership on the parts that you can take ownership on, which is, I shouldn't have been there. I know that's my fault. But what he did, that's his fault. Everyone's got their own fault to different things. So, okay. Well, let me tie this off here, baby, because I want people to know now, like, what's happened now. You've broken free, and we're always falling. We're always going through these things. But since those decisions have been made, what is life like now?
So I can't even speak on it because it's just so beautiful. I went from I went from carrying on the corner crying, "Will you love me?" to actually knowing I'm I'm a child of God. Like
Mm-hmm.
I am. If you don't love me, then that's it.
Mm-hmm.
There used to be such anxiety and such longing and what a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
What a waste of time. It was such a waste of time. It was such a waste of time. Like it kept me away from okay, let me tell you. When you have that, you don't put time into what benefits your life.
Mm,
You don't put time into the relationships, the life experiences, because you're just saying everything you don't have.
mm,
But
mm,
you don't even have appreciation what you do have,
mm,
and you have no gratitude. I didn't
mm,
realize how selfish I was. I was like, oh my
mm,
God, this is so special how I'm feeling, being
mm.
miserable on the corner. Someone saved me. And I was like, you know what? God already saved me.
Right.
And the way I say is because I just thought I was just so pitiful. Who would ever, like, I'm not good enough. So if I think I'm not good enough, then I can't do anything.
Mm,
And those critical thoughts are strong. Those critical thoughts are the
mhm,
devil reminding you that you are nothing
yeah.
without me. So if you're nothing without me, what are you going to go into?
Mm,
Devilish ways.
mhm,
Those are the only thing you're going to seek approval with. So I'm going to tell you how I transformed my life.
mm,
I stepped out and I created my own business. I'm not talking about the coaching one. I'm talking about my spa. I wanted a
mm,
place where I could honor people and serve people.
mm,
I got a massage one day when I was feeling so punitive. It was actually during this time, and I just felt horrible. And I got a massage, and the masseuse did not want to hurt me. He repeatedly said, "I don't want to hurt you." And
mm,
I just thought, I never want to hurt someone. And his touch transformed me. I then created the spa. My spa created the ability to massage the homeless. I go
mm,
out there and remind people kindness is free.
mm,
Touch is kind. Touch is loving. Touch
mm,
does not hurt. Touch
mm,
does not judge. Touch is love. And if
mm,
anything outside of that, you walk away.
mm,
There are people I work with. I work with these beautiful women I at these shelters, and most of them are with children.
mm,
And the fact that they even trust me with their child means so much to me. It's so significant that you trust me with your child.
mm,
And I want their children to know touch is kind, touch
mm,
is loving, touch does not judge. And if it doesn't feel right, walk away.
mm, mm,
I love that. So, my spa, it's called the Massage Clinic. It is based in Alameda, California. And we give to the community.
mm,
We give, and I want to keep giving more. And this is the whole thing.
Mm,
God gives you more than you have given. Because I've been, it's called Touch Wellness, and we give to the community. God has given me even more clients. I started my spa during the pandemic. No one knew about me, and now I have more clients. I need more therapists because God knows I need more hands
mm,
to help more people.
mm. So beautiful. Oh my gosh. You take transformation is when you're able to take what you've been through and not just grow through it, but then use that in a way to serve the many. And it's just like what you said, when you do things God's way, he gives to those, he blesses us to be a blessing to others. And that's what I'm
He did
seeing you
that.
do.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you have to take the word.
Yeah.
You have to take the word. And God has transformed my life more than I even imagined. Because let me tell you, what did I just say? My only thing, my only plateau is he doesn't hit me.
Mm,
That was my limit.
mm,
That was my limit. So I
mhm.
accepted everything else. But
Yeah.
God was like, no, this is what love is. And I listened to it. Because I
That's
just thought love was, he doesn't hit me.
right. Yeah.
That's it. You can speak down.
Oh, there you are. I see you.
Yeah. Yeah, but yes. So until I really heard God, like
Yeah.
really heard him, I have a man that adores me now.
Mm,
He absolutely cherishes me,
mm,
and I honor him. And he wants to make me happy,
mm, mm.
and I want to make his life easier.
That's how it should be. How
Hmm.
beautiful. Baby, this has been people's lives are going to be transformed by this because this is one of those conversations that is so delicate, but it's so needed to be had. Of course, for the battered woman, which unfortunately there's a lot. We're in a society now where men don't know what being a man is. Like what you
Mm.
mentioned, weak men is a very big thing. Weak men hurt weak women. That's what I heard you say.
That's it. Weak
Yeah,
men want weak women. And how do
exactly.
you make a weak woman? We need it. I mean that could be another topic, but there is the making of a weak woman.
Mm,
There are, and let me tell you, I know the exact roadmap.
mm,
Being a former weak woman right here, I know
mhm.
the formula.
Yes. And Baby has a book on how to 8 ways to not be a doormat. I'm assuming that that's where that one is right there, right?
Mhm.
So
Yes.
check out that book. It's so important to understand because you have to grow. What I'm getting from today is whether you're that battered woman right now and you need this, you need to hear this message for sure. Or if you know someone that's in that situation, they need to hear this message for sure. But I think for everyone, we all have experienced different types of traumas that we might not be knowing, we might be unknowingly letting hurt ourselves in the ways that we are in our businesses, our lives, our families, and everything. And the same things and the same procedures that we're going through here to break free from a trauma, you can implement into your life as well too. What are things that we need to take accountability for? What are things where are we seeking validation from? Maybe it's you and society. Maybe it's you and social media, right? Whatever that it is, like where do we need to put God back in there? And also, what influences do we need to hear more of? You need to learn. You need to get around mentors, coaches. You need to read the word more. You need to accept different voices to start to grow different awareness to break free. John 8:32, once again, is you will know the truth and the truth will set you free. You need to know what the truth with a capital T is. That's ultimate breakthrough. And when you can, you have a living testimonial here with Baby to see where she was to who she is and where she is now. If you want a loving relationship, you absolutely can and deserve that. If you want a thriving business, you absolutely can and continue to do that. And Baby does many different things. She has her spa, but also she does coaching. So she has soul touch coaching. If you want to get one on one with her, group with her, she has many programs, many courses. Check out her website, check out her social media platforms. It's very uncommon to find somebody that speaks like how, and to the topics, the way that they speak to it as well too, like how Baby does. It's so powerful. Um, but as we wrap up today, Baby, I want to ask you a couple quick questions. First of all, any favorite Bible verses or stories?
I'm actually really excited. Okay, so I went to Sunday school as a little kid. In order to get Twinkies, we had to memorize certain verses. And this one actually saved me. And I got the Twinkie. Romans 10:13.
Mm,
Whomever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. It was the only one I remember. There's
mm,
many out there. That's the one I love because it's powerful.
mm,
Think it's just some words. It's so strong. You call on his name and you will be saved. Saved from depression, saved from anxiety, saved from remorse, saved from endless nights of not sleeping,
mm,
saved from binge eating,
mm.
saved from financial poverty. You will. It doesn't sound like it. You will.
Mm.
Right? Will, and you'll be
Wow.
saved.
Wow.
Romans 10:13.
Wow. Jot that down, put that in your refrigerator, put that on your phone, Romans 10:13, and use that. Bank up these promises, and you never know when you need it, but you'll need it when you least expect it. But you have to memorize it first and know it first. Awesome. Okay. Any favorite books you'd recommend for our audience, whether spiritual or not?
Um, yes, I love this book and the Four Agreements.
Mm.
Eckhart Tolle. You might as well just get the fifth agreement because it talks about the four agreements and then it adds a fifth agreement. Just pick up the fifth agreement. But it, it's mind-boggling. It brings you to a transcendental state.
Mm.
It gives you so much more depth. And for anybody out there, and I'm going to put this out there, this could be another topic, but if you have ever been molested as a child, raped as a child, touched unfavorably as a child, read. Oh my God, I need to know this book.
Do you know the author?
Um, I've shared this book with so many people, and for some reason, at this very moment, it is blanking on me, which is really ridiculous.
All good.
The Courage to Heal. There you
The
go.
Courage to
The
Heal.
Courage to Heal.
Mm.
And The Courage to Heal. So if you've ever
Mm.
gone through anything, it looks like a textbook. It looks like a medical journal. It's called The Courage to Heal.
Mm. Mm. Perfect. Okay.
You will feel like you're reading your own diary.
Wow. Okay. The courage to heal, ladies and gentlemen. That is super important. Okay. I'll put all these links also in the captions as well too. And what's um what's one message you'd like to be able to share with this community, the faith-based entrepreneur? Maybe they're going through challenge, they're going through struggle. They're trying to figure out their way to be able to move forward in life. Like, is there any one message that you'd like to be able to leave our audience with?
For the faith-based community, you want to give more.
Mm,
You will be rewarded.
mm,
Give, donate your time, donate your finances, give. Not This has nothing to do with your church tidings. This is outside of it. You
mm-hmm.
want to give. When you give, you receive so much more. Beryl Solomon talks about like um, the Jewish business secrets.
Mm-hmm.
Go find him, Beryl Solomon, Jewish business secrets. He's completely biblical based.
Yeah.
He talks about how to give and keep giving and how you do get rewarded. And it's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. I give access to God, and I was giving without even thinking it was for God.
Mm,
But once I made
mm,
it about God, and
mm,
once I made it about God, here's the thing: once I
mm.
made it about God, it just multiplied because then you build a network
Yeah.
of people that know that you're giving and they
Def-
want to support you.
yes. It's one of the laws of the kingdom. He gives to those that are generous already. So
It sounds like I don't have enough money. Give your time,
you
but you
gotta
have to make it about God.
exactly. That's powerful, baby. I think so important, especially these days, in these times. Well, baby, hey, if you guys are not connected with Baby Lee, follow her, go to her website, go to her Instagram. Is there anywhere else you'd like people to connect with you as well too?
No, I'm good. I would love to meet any of you. So if you're ever in the San Francisco Bay Area, I'm
Yeah.
right here at the massage clinic.
Nice. We're gonna have to drop by. We're really not that far away. Awesome, everybody. Hey, everyone. Well, Kingdom Builder, this was a powerful one. This is one of those you need to chew on. This is one of those ones you're gonna have to replay. This is one of those ones you're gonna want to share with someone as well too, because we all know people that have gone through varying forms of trauma. The playbook on freedom is right here. And thank you so much, Baby Lee, for sharing this with us. And do you mind ending us with a quick prayer? Are you open for that? I know I'm putting in the spot, or I'll
As
pray for us. Either works.
No, no, I got it. I got it. It's just in my heart, I always feel like a man prays so well,
Ah,
but God listens to his daughters. So let me go ahead. Thank you. God listens to his daughters. So
absolutely.
God, thank you so much for this time. Thank you for connecting us. Please let this message of abuse be exposed. Please let these women know that they could be set free through your words. Please save these lives. There are women that are in relationships that are harmful, that are
Mm,
giving babies to men that will hurt them.
mm,
Please save them. Let this message expand. Let them know that through me, that you have shown me how to get out of it, that I can show
mhm.
others. Please let those who are willing to change their lives come to me and let them lead you towards them.
Yes.
Amen.
Amen. I don't know how you said it. I don't know how you say that's not powerful. That was a powerful, powerful prayer. Thank you so much, baby, and everyone here, Kingdom Builder. Let's continue to expand your influence, your success, so we can elevate His kingdom. And we'll talk with you all soon. See you on the next one. Bye bye.